Do all lesbians U-Haul?
Do they all think the same?
Loving somebody, another female presenting person, that hard, that's our liberation.
I get very consumed into a relationship, very like cohabitate-y, very obsessive.
Desperation to make it work.
Not everyone. That's a stereotype. I don't know.
Not as many lesbians in the world exist as straight counterparts. So when you find one that feels like is fitting for you, you're like, I gotta hang on to it with all my heart.
Lesbian couples show higher emotional expressiveness.
Yeah, we don't shovel it down and then convert it into anger and then become crazy in that man way.
Boring. Sex is looking at somebody across the room and realizing that you want them for the night.
Really, I just bust a nut in 5 minutes.
Shit, do I even have sex? I don't know.
I don't know if it's better, but I wouldn't change it for the world.
No, I think we can do a little better.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Queer Collective podcast. I'm your host, Carbon.
I'm Emily.
And I'm Shannon.
And welcome to the show. And this episode is sponsored by Vizzy Hard Seltzer, but more on that later.
Do all lesbians think the same? We're unpacking the big stereotypes, emotional intensity, U-hauling, and lesbian bed death to see how Sapphics really do relationships.
Okay. And to bust this myth, we're joined today by Shannon Farrell, lesbian hopeless romantic and the Sapphic poet known online as Lesbian Playboy Poetry. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Do we think lesbian relationships are more emotionally intense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, from personal experience, yes.
Yeah?
I would say.
Why?
When I say personal, I'm talking solely about myself, but
Well, personal experience
As
usually
personal
does.
Yeah, I love very, very hard. I care very hard. I will put myself fully out there. My dad used to give me this awful piece of advice about relationships because he was married to my mother, so I don't blame him. But he used to say, go in to a relationship with 1 foot in and 1 foot out, ready to turn and run. And that has literally never worked for anyone beyond Sapphic, I think. That does not work, Ian.
Ian, if you're listening.
If you're listening. But I think they're so intense because I always see it truly as like, going back to our elders, it's like an act of rebellion. Loving somebody, another female presenting person, that hard is just, that's our liberation. That's where my liberation lives as a gay person.
That's poetic.
Thank you. That's why they pay me the medium dollars.
Yeah. That's why they pay me the low to mediums.
Yeah, exactly. All the followers I can get, baby.
I hear a lot of different varying opinions. Like, I haven't heard that one yet, so thank you for that one. But then there's also like the scarcity mindset, I think, where like not as many lesbians in the world exist as straight counterparts. So when you find one that feels like is fitting for you, you're like, I gotta hang on to it with all my heart.
Walk it in.
Yeah,
Lock it in.
Because there's not going to be anyone else out there, right?
But then I also feel like there is this inherent intensity with just the way that women love. I don't know. I feel like it's very nurturing. It's very like caretaker. So to have that double time is, I think, very, it can seem like as more intense than straight relationships. And I feel like they probably are.
Yeah, I feel like there's something embedded there in female relationships that are it's the intensity is really coming from like a very rooted place, like it's in your blood. That's how I feel.
I must take care of you.
Exactly, and that idea as well that I'm the best person to do that. I'm the best person to take care of you. So I think when things don't work out, that intensity follows suit to that maybe breakup or maybe it didn't work out or timing or whatever it is. Like I think that's where we feel all the intensity as well. I don't think, we just
going
drop
in and
things
going out.
and, well, that didn't work out. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like,
Right.
I need to please respect my privacy at this time.
Yeah. It's that intense yearning, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that yearning that like
Yes.
makes you envision your whole life together and think that you couldn't possibly have a life without this person. That makes the breakup so very painful.
So very painful.
Yeah. But do we actually think it's different than our heterosexual counterparts? Like,
how many
men
straight
not
relationships
yearn?
have you been in?
Serious, probably like 3, I
Okay.
think. Yeah, 3. And I feel ever so guilty to them, but also mostly to myself, because I was like, you know, like there is something here that you have not addressed because you do have a lot of internal things. You know, I was raised dominantly by white cis men, not having my mom in the picture because I'm gay. My experiences with my straight relationships were always overshadowed by I have this secret that everyone's going to hate me for, including this wonderful, wonderful person that I don't want to hurt and I don't want to harm because I feel like their feelings towards me are so true. Yeah. And my feelings to them were so true, but they were nowhere near as intense or romantic as they should have been. So I didn't feel that intensity because there was this other thing that I was kind of working on very, very slowly.
Your little secret.
It was intense in other ways of me going like, yeah, see you later. Oh my God. Yeah.
Do we think that lesbians often, and maybe like homo-romantic people, have this perception that sapphic dynamics are more intense because we didn't really fully actually enjoy a heterosexual dynamic?
That's probably another reason. Yeah. Because once you find the lesbian relationship after being in a hetero relationship, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
This is what, so I think when I got there, I finally got to like my first actual girlfriend. It was like, whoa, like just so intense. And so because it was also like a release, it was a freedom. Being able to hold somebody's hand out in public was like very emotional for me when I did it the first time. It was just like, we're just going out for crepes. Why are you crying? We're doing it together. After that, there is like a huge breath of like, whoa, okay, I'm doing this. I can do it. Okay, great. Sorry about the past, Shannon. Like,
sorry about the past.
Well, it's just it came from me putting boundaries on myself of like, I can't, not now, because I'm in this thing, so it's not now. But you're hurting that other person just intensely as you're hurting yourself.
This podcast is proudly sponsored by Vizzy Hard Seltzer.
Over the last 5 years, Vizzy has supported our mission to authentically and positively represent the entire LGBTQ2S+ community.
And with Vizzy's vibrant flavors, you can follow your own vibe. Be bold, be flavorful, and above all else, be yourself. Plus, Vizzy only has 100 calories and 1 gram of sugar per can.
Cheers! Must be of legal drinking age, and please enjoy responsibly.
And now, back to the episode.
One big thing I did notice that was different when I moved from like a heterosexual dynamic to a sapphic dynamic was like the fluctuations of emotions.
What you mean?
When you bring two people together who have a period, and not all lesbians have a period, I'm not saying that, but from my experience going from being with a cis man to being with a cis woman, it was like, wow, we're fluctuating a lot all over the place, you know? And I did look into research, and there isn't research that cis women have more emotions, but there is evidence that our emotions fluctuate more due to hormonal changes in our bodies. So I think noticing those big like differences and changes was, I was like, okay, this is a new thing to navigate versus someone who's kind of all the same plane all the time.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Wouldn't it be crazy to be like all the same all the time?
Be wonderful.
I don't know if it would be wonderful though.
Boring.
Yeah. Do something new.
Yeah, do something new.
I think I'd like some
crazy.
stability.
I don't know. I want to do backflips.
Yeah. Okay, so let's unpack this whole idea that lesbian relationships are automatically more emotionally intense. The spoiler is that it's rooted in some good old-fashioned stereotypes about women being too emotional. Like, think about how we're raised. When girls are sad, we get comforted and we're told to talk about our feelings. Meanwhile, if a little boy expresses the same behavior, they're called a sissy, gay, or told to toughen up. So that definitely creates this big sociological difference in the way that girls and women are taught to express their feelings versus how boys are taught to express their feelings. And it doesn't necessarily mean they have less emotions.
Yeah.
They just are taught to express them differently. So over time, women are learning to show emotions in ways that are socially acceptable, which make us look more emotional, even though it's not necessarily true. And I got a little study to back it up. There's actually a psychology study from 2010 that found women and men report feeling emotions at the same intensity. The real difference is that women tend to be more expressive about it.
Yeah, we don't shovel it down and then convert it into anger and then become like crazy in that man way.
Yeah.
Crazy in that man.
A little to unpack there. Then there's a perception bias as well. So when men express strong emotions, it's often seen as situational. Oh my God, he was so stressed, and that's why he's acting like this. While women's emotions are seen as dispositional. She is so emotional. So it's like, you're an emotional person. You're just in a stressful situation.
I
you know?
see.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Which reinforces the stereotype.
There's a bit of maybe like nature versus nurture in there. Like maybe if you've been brought up to be incredibly expressive or not. Because like for me, having very, very divorced parents who had very different parenting
Very
styles.
divorced.
Very, so divorced. Yeah. My mother was the one who was very like, no one wants to hear that. No one wants to hear how stressed you are. No one wants to hear how upset you are. And my father was the one who was just like, hey, we're going to make a cup of tea and use our words. And
so nice.
That to me was like growing up, I was like, oh, not everybody has this. Like that's quite interesting to me. So I think maybe there's a little bit of like, yeah, something embedded or how we're raised, and then
What happened to your mother?
It's just another podcast.
That's a whole lot. How much time you got here? We're here for joy. Joy only. This is a joy and vibes zone, please.
With a stereotype, not everyone's going to fit into it because it's a stereotype. Like, it's not the reality.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
There's obviously very many outliers. My mom isn't a very expressive person either, I would say. Neither's my dad. But
I would say your dad less than your mom.
yeah.
Significantly.
But both not very much.
Wow,
But then
okay.
they somehow made two children that are extremely emotionally expressive. So it was like the opposite. I don't know.
Like two negatives and a positive.
Literally.
You're just
I think
like,
that's what
well,
happened. We're like, love, I need it. Give me something.
please, anything.
I'm dying over here.
Take a pat on the head at this point. Yeah.
Literally.
I mean, that's the funny thing with stereotypes, though. It's just like
Yeah.
you brush it off as a stereotype, but it's rooted in like a little bit of something, right? So study.
Here's the thing, because it's so deeply socialized into us, there actually is a little truth to the stereotype. According to the study from the Gottman Institute, lesbian couples show higher emotional expressiveness, showing more anger, humor, excitement, and interest during conflict compared to gay male and heterosexual couples.
Well, we just want to communicate.
Yeah, well, just that's number one.
We just gotta like really yap it. Yap something to
Yap
death.
session 3000.
From my like general experiences, obviously like there's going to be some outliers. There's definitely some very emotional men out there that are not going to fit into the stereotype, but generally I have found like the fights are more intense in a sapphic dynamic
But
because
what
like you're
about
both
the
really invested in
love?
it. Yeah, but also, here we go. There's a however. So,
Stand by.
yeah. However, Sapphics also experience less negative emotional control tactics, such as domination or fear, and they maintain more positivity post-conflict. So the conflict might feel bigger in the moment, but the recovery is also stronger.
I can believe that.
It's like we're just really invested in this. We're so...
Yeah, it's the kind of going back to what we were first talking about. I think maybe there's a little bit of like, for lack of a better word, like desperation to make it work. You know, that feeling of like, this is like, I don't want to lie to you. This is how I get angry. This is how I get sad. This is how I get happy. And I want to share that with you. And if it's not your thing, I want to work on making sure we're both on the same page rather than putting on a mask.
Maybe that is like the kind of the scarcity piece is there's such a willingness to work it out.
Yeah,
it's like, I see you as my partner no matter what. And like, we are going to work this out. And that might not be, again, this is a generalization. That might not be everyone's experience, but...
I think it goes back to some of what we talked about earlier, going from a man to a woman and being like, whoa, this is amazing. I want to make this work. And then also a little bit of like the scarcity piece of like, there's less lesbians out there than there are heterosexual women that we know of. Wait a minute. Whoa. That could be wrong, actually. Allegedly. As we move through this world, there might be more. I don't know.
Yeah. That's us throughout this whole conversation today. Allegedly.
Yeah. Maybe.
Not everyone.
Not
That's
everyone.
a stereotype. I don't know.
Yeah. Hands up, I'm just saying.
Basically, I just think that I think intensifies your willingness to work on things because not every relationship is perfect. Majority aren't. None of them are. What?
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, let's work on this in order to be better partners to one another. And even if it doesn't work out, you end up being a better partner to the next person.
Yeah.
Because you really tried to work on whatever you wanted to work on.
One wild thing that I hear a lot from heterosexual couples is that they have to teach their boyfriend how to share their feelings and like communicate with them.
Oh my.
Yeah.
It's like teach them how to feel.
Oh.
I don't
Wait, I
know
think
if I'm the right
hold
person.
up. Teach them. I think they know how to feel, no?
They know how to
They don't know how to express
they don't know
the
how
feeling?
to communicate their feeling or how to even identify which feeling they're feeling.
Okay,
like
I have
it's so
heard this.
suppressed. Like you've been told to like shove that in so hard that it's
Yeah.
like they don't know how to communicate anything.
And like, why is that normal? Like,
That's
I just like,
crazy.
I remember this like this TikTok trend. I don't know if you guys remember, but it was like from a while ago where women were buying themselves flowers and chocolates, and then when their when their boyfriends would come pick them up, they would throw
yeah.
the flowers and chocolates at them, and
remember
then
this.
pretend that it was the boyfriend who gave them, and it was like
I hate that.
funny, ha, but
Yeah.
you take a second to be like, wait a minute, like
It's like I'm literally telling you exactly what you need to do to make me feel
Glove.
cared for, loved,
And I'm
special,
like,
happy.
he hasn't
Yeah.
bought you flowers? Like, goodness gracious. It's
I would
funny
say
until
some
it's
lesbians
not.
do that too, though. Wasn't there a couple on the Ultimatum, the Queer Ultimatum recently, where it's like she wouldn't buy her any flowers?
Getting flashbacks. Yeah. That show, I was like, that show gave me like panic
happens
attacks.
though. It's like I think there's also, and those are the outliers. Like there are some lesbians, some Sapphics out there who also have suppressed the shit out of their feelings, and I think that can also come from trauma of having shoved your feelings down for so long because you can't be your true self.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah, that's
Yeah. I mean, that's bad too.
that's bad.
That's pretty bad. I don't think it's necessarily like the flowers specifically. It's the act of doing something for somebody that you care about.
And actually listening to someone who says what their love language is and being like, okay,
This is what I gotta
care
do
about
now.
you, so I will do that.
Yeah.
I remember there was a friend who told me that with her boyfriend, they were discussing like feelings, and she was sharing all these things that she feels that might create conflict in the relationship. And it's like we gotta sit here and we gotta talk through this. And then said everything, waited, and then kept waiting.
Oh no.
And then was like,
Not the waiting.
you gonna say something?
Right.
How do you feel about
Yeah.
this?
And now you go.
And it's your turn.
Please,
And then
friend.
he was like, yeah, I'm over it. It's all good. Anyway, so I gotta go like repark the car because I remembered that I left it in like a bad spot. And I was like, that is so insane to me. Like, I don't like. And he's like, no, I internally processed it all. No need to worry. Gotta go. Like, what?
Trust me, I got it.
Trust me.
Trust me.
Wow, thank God we had
Thank
that
you so much
conversation.
for sharing. Yeah, I'm so happy that we
Wow.
talked about it.
Thank you for the conversation with myself.
Yeah.
I love that.
So I have a question for y'all. Do we think this level of emotional intensity is a good thing in a relationship, for a relationship?
I mean, there's pros and cons to everything.
Very true.
Here's my thing. I don't know. Well, I don't know if it's better, but I wouldn't change it for the world.
I
Rainbow appears over your head.
yeah, logo.
Lesbian. Live, laugh, lesbian.
Okay, that's the episode. Thank you for joining us.
Live, laugh, lesbian.
I mean, live, laugh,
change it for the
lesbian.
world.
I mean, and I've said this in good old therapy.
Yeah.
Where I do feel like sometimes after caring for somebody so intensely, after loving somebody so intensely, it does make the breakup intense, just as intense. It's hard,
Or
and
more.
I remember even maybe more. And I remember telling my therapist and many friends who were going through it with me, saying that I feel like I've lost a bit of myself. I feel like they've taken a bit of myself with them. And I've been working very, very hard on making sure that, Shannon is just as complete as they were when this person was in their life, not being in their life now. And I went through a hell of a breakup around this time last year, actually. And it's funny that we're talking about like lesbian relationships being 10 times more intense because this breakup was cold as ice. It was the most unfeeling thing in the world. Like it was like I'd been dating like a very cold fish.
I know. I've received that too, where it's
Not
like
the fish.
Not the fish.
the most intense emotional experience together, and then it's just cold as ice when you break up.
And she said, I love you first. And then months later, it was just like, I don't even want to give you the details on why I'm going. It's just gone. And so you're left with like, but what about this? But what did this mean? And did it start here? And you're left with a lot of questions.
Yeah, did
in
you
that
really mean
coldness.
that?
Did you really
Were you
mean
just
that?
saying things?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, I'm very comfortable now with how intensely I love and how, because that translates into my, platonic love as well. I love my friends so intensely and care about them so intensely. And it's really, really important to make sure that you are, you're feeling your feelings, have your pity party. God knows I did.
But you gotta have your pity party.
I love a pity party. I'm queen of pity party. Love it.
Crown me.
Crown me. Where is it? I left it at home. I didn't want to
She didn't want to show you up.
I didn't want to show it. It wouldn't fit with the headphones.
Yeah,
So
that's fair.
But take care of yourself. Make sure that you surround yourself with good people or a cat. Or dog. Just something to make sure that you are feeling intensely, but you intensely care about your recovery as well.
I think it's also about dating very intentionally so that you can avoid this feeling that you've lost yourself throughout the process,
of course,
you know?
Yeah.
Because that would happen to me as well. It's I get very consumed into a relationship, very cohabitate-y, very obsessy, very codependent.
Obsessy.
Where's my key?
I'm a little obsessy.
I realize it's not healthy. I have these very awful breakups afterwards as well, where it's well, I feel like I'm actually going to die right now.
Yeah. I can't breathe.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And at first I was maybe this is just a lesbian thing. And I'm no, I think we can do a little better.
Yeah. No, I think we can.
We don't have to go that far.
Yeah.
But I think it's really about, I'm actively learning this right now. I think it's about continuing to listen to your inner voice a lot and do things that feed into yourself while you're also feeding into the relationship as well. But have a separate identity. Yeah. And know that if that person leaves you, I hope they don't leave you. You might be together forever, but be okay on your own.
Yes. Very, very important lesson that I've also learned. Thanks for teaching me. Problem solved. I'm better.
It's not quite so easy.
Yeah, no, it's not.
You can know the words, but the actions, that's where it gets harder.
Yeah, very much so.
I feel like I don't take my own advice.
I don't think many people do.
It's the hardest advice to take because you're always making an excuse for yourself. You're always making an excuse for
But I'm different.
But I'm different, or I've struggled a lot with self-esteem, so it's a lot of but I don't deserve that.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean?
Oh, I'm struggled.
I'm just scared to be alone.
I just don't want to be by myself for very long. 10 minutes, no problem.
Being alone is a good thing. Being alone for too long can get a little scary.
I mean, that's also been part of this independence journey as well, is really heavily investing into platonic love in relationships as well, because that is a really important relationship model that I don't think we pay enough attention to. So we think the emotional intensity is a good thing. I don't know if anyone ever responded to me.
Oh, well,
I mean,
lost. Here's the thing.
Tell me.
I don't know how to love without it. So for me, it's a good thing because I'm showing you how much I care. I'm showing you how much I love. I'm showing that, I'm not trying to downplay my feelings or act too cool to show love. I don't know.
But that's quite profound to say, I don't know how to love without that intensity. I think that's really beautiful because I'm totally on the same page of I don't think I ever have really. Maybe with the men I was with. I pulled back. But with my sapphic relationships, it's been this is hi, this is me. I'm here.
I want to build a life together.
But also growing comfortably in that journey of if you can't meet me there, I have to be okay with that. I kind of have to be okay, well then maybe this is not for us. I'm comfortable just being on my own.
Yeah.
And I'm comfortable in a relationship because I'm comfortable being alone and understanding what it is that I want. That intention that you were talking about, very, very important. So to answer your question that we've been bouncing around, yes, I think intensity is a good thing.
It is so beautiful to be able to love someone so deeply that you see almost every aspect of their soul. Yeah. And them as a person and be able to hold each other in those really emotional depths. I think that is so beautiful. And I'm so grateful that I've gotten to experience that. I think I'm just in a place now where it's wow, I've never been single before. And I need to now hold myself like that.
We're learning.
How do you tell the difference between a healthy, deep connection and an unhealthy fusion?
Well, it's a little bit of a slippery slope.
Yeah, that communication will definitely come to play in knowing the difference.
I feel like if you can't spend time apart, it's a bad sign.
Yeah, if you're anxious when you're apart,
that's bad.
no good.
Yeah.
Ask yourself why you're anxious. You can feel that sense of closeness while also holding on to who you are as an individual, and like you're not losing that sense of individuality.
Something that I find really intriguing and a good thing to practice is practicing like autonomy or even separation in a public setting where you like arrive to something together, but you don't spend the whole time together. And you're like, I'm going to go talk to these people. You talk to these people.
Yeah.
Like we're going to go around and
separate public identities.
Separate. And then we're going to meet again, but then we're going to disperse again, you know, and like kind of go back and forth and not like be joined at the hip the whole time.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Because then you can do the fun, like, debriefing at the end of the night.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, okay, who did you talk to? Okay, I was talking to them about the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You know
then
what I
we
mean?
piece the plot line together.
Yeah, exactly. Connect the dot.
Well, they said this.
Like
They said that. Well,
Sherlock.
this person said this. Oh my God.
And then you're just giggling in bed together, like,
Yeah.
I think my other sign of a healthy relationship is that both people are growing in a positive direction. You know, and for me, if
What constitutes growth?
I think just like you're evolving in a way that feels good for you. Like, you know, if you were to look back a year ago, you're like, I'm happy about what has changed in this past year.
I think the
and
pursuit
you're
of
helping me
something.
do that.
Yeah. The pursuit of
You know?
something for both people
Yeah.
is very important.
Yeah. And I can see that with friendships as well. Like, I feel like if a friendship is keeping me stagnant and it's not necessarily offering anything else to my life, sometimes I'm like, I don't necessarily want to invest in that more. Like, I don't think that's just about romantic love. And I think, like, respecting boundaries as well. You know, I work on that too.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm clingy. But and it's like sometimes someone just like you need to talk to them through these things. And just because it's not perfect right now and it maybe doesn't sound exactly like this, if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, my relationship doesn't sound perfect, like being able to have an open conversation with your partner and say, hey, these things are kind of bothering me. I'd love for our relationship to move in this direction. And like you guys can get there together.
I have a heavy flow, and it's actually super annoying when I go to bed with a tampon in or a Diva cup and I wake up to a bloody mess because it's leaked everywhere. Now, period underwear like Isle has actually been such a huge game changer for me because now I can get a restful sleep and wake up without any mess.
Today's episode is brought to you by Isle, the original period underwear company. Proudly queer-owned, Isle has been leading the way in sustainable period care since 1993, redefining what period products can do for you and the planet for nearly 3 decades.
Let's talk about their Boost Boxer. Now, this is a period underwear like you've never experienced before. The Boost Boxer is a reliable, comfortable, and inclusive style option for everybody. Yes, everybody. Whether you're on the go, working from home, or looking for overnight protection that you can count on, this boxer brief is designed to move with you.
So what makes it so special, you might ask? First, it's made with sustainable fabrics that are breathable and leak-proof, so you stay comfortable and dry all day long. It's made for the heaviest of flows. The leak-proof gusset is sewn from the front of the waistband all the way to the back, while the removable boost liner lets you customize your absorbency level, giving you extra protection when you need it most. And unlike some other reusable period products, the Boost Boxer is PFAS-free and designed to keep you feeling fresh with no leaks.
And as if the underwear wasn't good enough, another reason why we love Isle so much is because they are a certified B Corp. That means that they're held to some of the highest standards for social and environmental responsibility. It's period care that you can feel good about, literally and figuratively.
So why settle for less when you can have it all? Inclusive styles, comfort, sustainability, and performance. Head to periodisle.com and use code QueerCollective for 15% off. Isle, sustainable period products for every body.
Thank you, Isle, for sponsoring this episode.
The next topic that we want to jump into is U-hauling, which is the idea that lesbian couples are much more likely to cohabitate early on in a relationship.
I don't think this is true at all. I think this is a huge stereotype. Have you seen Love is Blind?
No.
They move in, they marry each other and
facts.
move in within like 6 weeks.
That's
Betrothed.
That's really
Yeah,
scary.
literally heteronormativity is about that. It's like about... I mean, in many cultures, there's like arranged marriages, all of this stuff.
Arranged.
That's why
You didn't even meet
You
them.
don't, yeah.
it does seem a little silly, I will say. But I'm wondering, have either of you ever U-hauled?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Not real, but yeah, for sure.
My record's clean.
Really?
So far, I have
Shut the fuck
not.
up, really?
Yeah,
You've never U-hauled?
I've never U-hauled. I haven't done like when we're saying U-hauled, we're talking like moving in and doing the whole thing, or
Well,
specifically.
how quick is considered a U-Haul?
Yeah, what do we consider U-Haul?
How quick?
Well, how quick?
How
Say
quick? Say it out loud.
What I'm picturing U-hauling is like I'm thinking of the whole like moving in together after like a month type of thing.
I think under a year. That's my personal.
Under a year?
I think under a year is U-hauling.
Okay.
If we're moving in together. But I also,
Yeah.
I think a lot of us use U-hauling as they're like committed to each other really quickly. You know, like the emotional intensity is really high really quickly. Like I think the term has evolved a little bit to mean other things because not everybody's moving in right away.
Right.
Yeah,
But-
sometimes you gotta preserve like your sweet, sweet rent.
You do. You do.
But I
yeah.
think a lot of people say, oh my God, they're U-hauling when you see two people where it's like they just went on a first date and they've been on maybe like a 12-hour first date and then
But
the next day
that's
they're
an
like-
average
they're
date.
locking it in. Yeah, it's just normal.
Yeah. I mean, sapphic dates are like a week.
Yeah.
So it's like,
But
yeah,
there you go.
like that I've done.
You're like
That
12
I've
hours?
done.
Why'd you cut it so
You've
short?
done a
I've-
week
I've-
first date?
I haven't done a week. I've done like 3 to 4 days of just like
Tell us about it.
continuous. So I was like just seeing this lovely lady, and it was literally one of those like we went on the first date, we had a really good time, and she was like, "What are you doing tomorrow?" And I was like, "Nothing." She's like, "Do you want to come shopping with me?" And I was like, "Yeah, girl." So I went shopping with her, and that was fun. And then I stayed the night, and then we got up the next morning. She was like, "Do you want to go get like breakfast, and then maybe we can go do stuff?" And I was like, "Yeah." So we did that, and I literally had been gone for like 4 days, and people were like, "Are you okay? Like, where are you?" And I was like, "I'm with this stranger, basically. I met online." But it was really fun and fizzled out immediately.
Interesting.
Done. It was like a 4-day relationship, basically.
Wow.
Of just like, here's
Wow.
just a nibble of what it would be like.
And then never spoke
And then
again.
I got the message of like, hey, that was really fun, but you know, ... XYZ, whatever,
That's
whatever,
wild.
whatever. And I was just like,
Never want to do it again?
like,
Was there like one red flag maybe that you did that came up for her in the 4 days?
Honestly, yeah. I was like, what did I do? I was like, I kept thinking about like what I bought when we were shopping. I was just like, oh my God, like maybe that like kitschy thing I bought was too kitschy. I don't know. So to this day, I have no idea what happened.
Wow.
But thank you for that lovely experience of 4 days. Interestingly enough, I've been dating somebody who's incredibly lovely and awesome. And it's funny because I moved at the beginning of August, and a lot of people, they didn't say it, but they were like, "Oh, you're moving in with," and I was like, "No, like we've been dating for like 4 months," and they were like, "Yeah." I was like,
They're like, get
yeah,
moving.
they're
Like,
hello,
get a
like,
move on
like
here.
she's gonna leave you. I'm like, oh.
It's
Like,
scarcity.
yeah, it's like, do okay, well, you're not moving in together.
Gotta lock it in.
Do you like her? Like, I don't. I'm like,
Can I ask her out?
I was like, oh, so
Hey,
you're not serious.
you're
Then is what
breaking
I'm
up.
getting, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no. I just like economically, this is what I need to do. I think emotionally, yes, I have U-hauled emotionally.
I
of
think
like,
I U-Haul emotional big time.
yeah, like
Yeah.
picturing the life, picturing. I mean, I won't lie to you. Me and my partner have talked about like what we would serve at our wedding. So, you know,
I mean, but that's just
enough.
like casual conversation.
That's casual sapphic conversation
Honestly,
of like,
though,
what
you-
would you do?
You watch these like straight dating shows though, and the heteros are talking about the same thing.
No, and more
They're talking
intensely.
more intensely about their wedding and kids
They're like,
and all
how
that. Like,
many
it's
kids are we
serious.
having?
They're
This is
being
our
so
third
serious.
date.
It's, and it's serious. I don't know if me and you U-hauled.
I wouldn't say no.
You don't think so?
No,
You
because-
came over every
But I
day.
did come over every day.
I do know this.
You basically
Yeah.
lived at my house.
But I didn't move in.
But it's casual, it's casual, whatever.
Officially, I didn't pack a suitcase. I just packed
Just several
my backpack.
bags.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
just had your backpack and you came over every single night.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm like, is
repacked.
that U-hauling?
It's
though?
got to be a backpack, girls who are not gay. Does that count as emotional U-hauling then? Where
I
you're
It
just
was
like,
definitely an emotional
I think
U-haul.
we were emotionally U-hauling though.
Yeah, we
Right.
definitely did.
You know when
Right.
you kind of like play house, but like you don't like tell your landlord about it.
yeah.
Yeah,
What the landlord doesn't need to know, he doesn't need to know, okay?
literally.
Where did this whole U-hauling thing even come from?
Have either of you heard the classic line, what do lesbians bring to a second date? A U-haul. But have you heard that?
I have heard that.
Yeah?
I have.
Well, everyone's heard that.
Yeah, okay. So that gem was made famous by gay comedian Leah Delaria when she dropped it on the Arsenio Hall show back in the early 90s. And once it hit mainstream culture, it stuck. Suddenly, what was once a little inside joke in the community became the lesbian stereotype.
Oh, so it was like that one lady. What's her name?
Well,
Leah.
she has
Leah.
the
Gay Leah.
she popularized it, but I think it was stuck
already a
because
thing?
people were talking about it already.
U-hauling feels like the biggest lesbian joke, but for a joke to land that hard and stick, there has to be some truth to it, no?
Yes, and in order to understand why it landed so hard, we're going to have to dig into a little bit of history. For most of the 20th century, lesbians couldn't exactly go around introducing each other as girlfriends without risking
Roommates.
harassment, losing jobs, or facing legal persecution. You just dropped a little crumb.
Ruh-roh.
Instead, women moved in together and called themselves
Roommates. And they were roommates.
Spinster
There
roommates.
we go.
Yeah.
And yes, that's where we got not one, but two Sapphic stereotypes, both U-hauling and the whole roommate thing. When two women met, moving in together wasn't just romantic, it was a strategy for survival and privacy. Beyond that, women historically didn't have the same financial independence that men did, so sharing expenses like rent wasn't just convenient, it was often the only way that their finances and relationships could work.
Because women didn't have jobs.
Well, not the base jobs.
Not
the
for a
best
good
jobs,
rate.
yeah.
Well, why didn't gay men get the same trope?
Their friendships and sexuality were way more heavily policed. It was constantly framed as a threat to masculinity, but for women, people weren't even imagining same-sex intimacy between women was sexual because a man wasn't involved. Patriarchy basically looked at two women living together and thought, spinsters, lifelong friends, super cute, just roomies. Thus, their relationships slipped under the radar as roommates.
They can't have sex because they don't know how.
Yeah, pleasure is not a thing unless there's a man around.
Literally in the early 1900s, like around World War I, they were thinking about whether or not they should add women into the law because of how they were policing men. For gross indecency. They were thinking, like, should we add women under this?
Yeah.
But the lawmakers were like, no, don't give them a bad idea. They don't even know that they can have sex with each other.
They haven't discovered it
They haven't
yet.
figured it out yet.
No one would ever think that.
That's crazy. They don't think that they can have sex with each other. There's no penis. Do all lesbians U-haul?
Do they all think the same?
I think maybe lesbians have embraced that stereotype and been like, yeah, and what? Like, because it's like, oh, okay. You know, like when somebody embraces something, like they've honed the power now. Like you can't tease them about it. It's just like, oh, you're U-hauling? It's like, yeah, I am.
It's definitely the biggest lesbian joke within the community. Like people use it so hard. Although it is a really big joke in the community, I don't think it actually resonates as something that people do. Like people are like, nah, that's not me.
So is the lesbian U-haul stereotype actually real?
Modern data says no. A study out of Stanford University followed the relationship paths of about 3,000 couples and found that on average, people in the US move in together after about a year and a half. And get this,
That's
whether
pretty late.
You think late?
That's late.
Slacking.
That's the average. And get this, whether the couple was two women, two men, or straight, didn't change the timeline at all. So basically, lesbians aren't U-hauling any faster than anyone else. We're just getting roasted for it.
Yeah.
And if you look at a recent report from eHarmony and GLAAD, which came out in October of 2024, only 26% of cis lesbians and gay women even said they felt like they moved in together too quickly.
I think it's just funny to the point where we like make fun of it ourselves. We ourselves keep it alive. Like nobody's really calling us U-haulers harder than lesbians themselves.
I think
I agree.
We're
Like I've
roasting
never
ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anytime that I've moved, anytime that we've had like a party where we need to move big stuff and we rent a U-Haul, we're like, let's
We gotta take a photo.
let's take a photo for the U-Haul.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, literally.
So it is us. We are the problem.
Honestly, the straight people are like getting engaged and married and all this shit real fucking fast too. So
Yeah.
we could grab them a
Sight
U-Haul.
unseen.
Is moving in together quickly a bad idea? Too quickly, it implies that it is.
I think it's a lot of change really quick. And I think, you know, when you live with someone, I think you really get to see them in their own space. Because I think people, regardless of what you say, I think people are different in their own little enclosed spaces.
Yeah, they're ripping farts like never
Where
before.
I'm cooking you. I don't fart. I've never farted in my life.
I don't even have a butthole.
Yeah, just like a little smarty once a month. Yeah, I think maybe it is a boundary thing. Like you have to be very clear and concise about like what this means, and because I think maybe if you approach it like it's going to be like a 3-month-long sleepover, maybe that's not super great. But you do, you kind of have to figure out who you are in a shared space. Tidbit, my parents didn't live together before getting married, so there you go. And very divorced.
And that worked out.
I think it's an important step to take, but I think there's other steps to take before doing that.
100%.
You know?
There's a lot of conversation, I think.
Yeah, you should definitely fart in front of each other before you move in together.
Yeah.
Good.
If you fart, I mean, I don't know.
Try going on a vacation together. Try building a piece of furniture together. Try
screaming at each other.
paddling in a canoe together. That'll really do ya.
Yeah.
Especially if neither of you know how to stern it. Try and see how conflict works out, because when you live together, roommate situations are difficult. Like, there's going to be a lot of things that come up where maybe you like your space differently than this person likes their space.
Yeah.
And that can open up so much conflict. And I think also it can take like the spicy romance away when you see them in their farts and their fart suit and like their pajamas. Their pajamas.
I gotta put on my suit.
It's a hazmat. Or like how long they leave dishes in the sink for, or
100%.
things like that. Like, what if your schedules perfectly line up too? So it's like whenever, you're both out at the same time, but you're both home at the same time, and that can be a lot.
It's a lot of seeing each other.
It's a lot
and
of
it
seeing each other.
makes it less special also.
It
Like
does,
sometimes it's really nice to take a break from your partner, and it makes the spiciness stay
What
alive.
if one of them's a clean freak?
You really had to house train me. But truly. And honestly, it helped my ADHD.
Aww.
Like you were just like slowly training
Every day. Where are my keys?
leave them in the same spot. There's really a lot of conflict. But now I leave my keys in the same spot. I also think like a practical piece of advice is that moving in together and sharing all of this furniture, sharing all of these assets together, sharing a dog together, these things can trap you in a relationship. And if this relationship starts going in a bad direction, it can make it harder to leave the relationship. Yeah. So what I will say is like living with a partner is really great. It doesn't mean you have to avoid living with a partner. However, always think about your independence and think about how you're going to get out of something. Continue investing into community. This is like our advice throughout the whole entire thing.
That's Ian's advice. 1 foot out the door, ready to run.
Not in like a 1 foot out the doorway, but it's like always have like emergency savings for yourself. Always make sure that you're investing in your community. And that doesn't mean that you're any less invested. It doesn't mean you're 1 foot out the door. You
Safety plan.
Have a safety plan.
A net.
Yeah.
You got a net.
That's good.
A big old net.
I'm meticulous now about not moving too fast with a partner, even though the emotions get very, very exciting, and you're like, "Whoa!" and it's like pulling you uncontrollably, and you're like, oh no, it's happening. Trying to like force myself to like slow down and be like, we are not moving in together right now. We are going on a trip together. Yeah. We'll see how that goes.
There's other things you can do that feel like you're taking a step in deepening a relationship.
Yes.
That don't have to tie you down.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, I think the trip
Like a trip.
That's a great idea.
Low stakes.
Yeah.
Well,
Start with a
how
walk.
much money did you spend? Start with a walk. Go hiking.
Start with a walk.
Start with a walk.
Go on a hike.
Can I be honest with you?
Please do.
I'm so sick and tired of these dates that feel like job interviews. In 2025, we deserve a space where we can show up just as we are, ready to meet other people just as they are. So lucky for you, on Field, you have the breathing room to explore your desires. Think open relationships, cuddling, being a brat, and find communities that share your interests. Think D&D, tennis, zine making. Free from ads and completely independent, this is the place that draws curious, playful, and open-minded people, the ones that you have been looking for. So if you're feeling curious, there's a little preview of what dating on Field has been like for Emily.
Field is the only dating app where I don't have to hide parts of myself. As someone who's both kinky and polyamorous, most platforms make dating feel like a job. Shifting through profiles, decoding vague bios, embracing myself for the moment I have to explain my relationship structure, unsure of how it'll land. But here, transparency isn't just welcomed, it's expected. It's built into the culture. I can lay everything out in my bio, no pretense, no softening, no waiting for the right moment to disclose. And the best part, I know I won't just be tolerated for it, I'll be celebrated. There's something liberating about not having to ease someone into who you are, whether it's naming the dynamics that make you feel most at home or exploring desires that might be too much elsewhere. Field creates space for honesty from the start. It means no second guessing, no unnecessary filtering, just a place to show up as yourself and trust that you'll be met there.
So get out your phone, go to the App Store or Google Play and download Field. That is FEELD. Thank you, Field, for sponsoring this episode.
This next section that we want to jump into is around this concept of lesbian bed death, which is a stereotype that claims long-term lesbian couples stop having sex or lose sexual desire for each other more quickly than other types of couples.
Is that true?
Have we heard of this?
There's so many straight couples that I've heard of that are like, we haven't fucked in 3 years.
Yeah, and you're like, death is such an intense word. Rest, pause,
Rest. I'm taking
a vacation.
I'm tired.
Dry spell?
Dry spell.
dry spell.
Yeah. I've only experienced it with the death of the relationship as well. Like, you aren't intimate for 3-4 weeks, whatever, a month.
I thought you were going to say years.
Oh God, I would wither up and die.
Yeah.
There would be no poetry. Like, what am I going to write about?
This happens to straight couples for sure. Not to gay couples because they just fuck all the time, I feel. That's my perception.
Bunnies.
You don't know that, though. That's another stereotype.
No, I don't know that.
Yeah.
I'm putting it...
that follows the same stereotype that like a couple needs a man in order for the sex drive to continue. And if there's 2 men, then definitely not.
Then it
They're gonna be
sounds
fucking
like
all the
it's
time.
just
Right.
his sex drive. Men's sex drive is different than women's sex drive. And then like the female sex drive, I feel like fluctuates with...
But now we got T-boys to increase our stats.
But I feel like it does fluctuate with like, like a period, for example. Like I'm definitely...
Absolutely. Like when you're ovulating, you're like,
I'm like, let's
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
But then when I'm, on my period, I'm like, we can pause.
Yeah.
When you first start off, you're really excited and a lot of sexual activity happens.
Totally. New
And
relationship energy.
As any relationship progresses, that slows down.
Agreed.
And
Yep.
then it
Yes.
and then it dips.
Yep.
But if you're never fucking, that's bad.
Unless there's like asexuality going on in the relationship.
Right, yeah.
Or there's also situations in periods of times where like I've been on antidepressants that weren't the right antidepressants for me.
That
and that has
changes
been
a
a
lot.
huge lull for me as
That's
well.
true. There's so many factors that could contribute to that.
That aren't like, that don't mean something bad about your relationship.
Right.
You know?
Correct.
I mean, for us, it was a combination of moving in together, doing all of our work together as well.
Right.
Being attached at the hip.
Which you love.
I fucking was obsessed with it. Being Carbon and Emily, like being everything together.
Yeah.
It also kind of desexualizes things a little bit because I think part of working together was you see each other as work mode, and then it made that switch out of work even harder to like jump into intimacy because we started seeing each other as like, oh my God, that deadline. Oh my God, I owe you this thing. And that isn't the most healthy thing
not
either.
sexy. Also,
It's
we're
not
pretty
sexy.
gross
It's not
around
sexy.
each other.
Yeah, I think that's also a bit of a problem.
It's like the farts that we have in front of each other are like
diabolical.
cartoon comical.
Oh, yeah.
Like the sound should be captured. What point is it like not sexy anymore? Like you can't get like the sexiness aspect back. I'm like, I've never seen a partner's poop. I feel like that's my line.
That's your boundary.
That's my line.
That's
yeah.
your
I
line.
think it's good to hide a few things, I would say. I think
Keep the mystery alive.
my challenge is, it's so fun for me to like be in that energy though, that like best friend energy. And I love having that in a relationship. So it is hard.
Yeah.
Like you want to have the sexy energy and it's like, how do we keep the sexy energy alive while being silly best friends?
Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah.
hold a boundary.
Well, well, yeah. Well, yeah.
I haven't hit that line with my partner yet.
It doesn't exist.
It might be, the limit does not exist, but it might.
Yeah.
Who
It might.
knows? Early days. We definitely have that like best friend, silly, weird energy when we're together, but happy to report we have not stopped fucking. So
Great. I mean, I think you're
Thank
still in like
God.
the NRE kind of phase
yeah,
for sure as well.
for sure. And I'll report back. We'll have a part 2. Like she sent me photos of poop and I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. It didn't break.
It doesn't ruin it for that doesn't ruin it for me, honestly. I think it was really working together that was like the hardest piece.
Right.
I think a lot of people struggle with this now that we're all in this super like capitalist world. I'm hearing so much talk about people struggling to like even get there with their partners after work because they're like, I've just been in this like really different mindset, and now like I'm coming home to you and we're trying to have sex, and it's just like my brain isn't there because
Right.
so much of
Yeah.
sex is a mental thing.
Yeah.
Like being able to orgasm is so mental.
Yeah.
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 That's why I feel like physical separation
Is
is
healthy.
important.
Yeah.
Miss each
And
other.
that's why I'm like, we're taking it slow in
Yeah.
terms of like the physical actions, like
Yeah,
going
for
forward.
sure.
Like
Yeah.
we're not moving in together because if we spend all our time together, then like, what do I have to report back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know, when I'm away from someone, I think about like all the good things about them. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't over obsess about negative things. I don't know why. I think that's like the romanticizing, yearning side of me. I'm always like, oh my God, and then when they did this, and I'm like, I miss you so much. You know? Like, oh my God, such a yearner.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
You got
Okay,
to yearn. Where did the term lesbian bed death even come from?
It's a great question. The term was first coined by sociologist Pepper Schwartz. And
Pepper.
Peppa.
I added that to my dog names right after I did this. I was like, that is such a good, that's a good puppy name. Anyway, sociologist Pepper Schwartz, an adult woman, not a dog.
Okay.
In the 1983 book, American Couples, Money, Work, Sex, when she co-wrote with Philip Blumstein, they surveyed around 12,000 U.S. couples, including 788 lesbian couples, and found that lesbian couples reported lower sexual frequency, especially in long-term relationships. And boom, just like that, the lesbian bed death phrase was born.
And just like that.
However,
Okay.
Oh.
it really took off a
Plot
few
twist.
years later, around 1987, when lesbian activist Jade McLuhan used it at a forum during the National March on Washington for lesbian and gay rights.
Well, is it a real thing?
Sorry. The answer is a little complicated. First of all, the academic study that I listed from Peppa
Peppa.
was so flawed. They did not even define what sex was and primarily focused on penetrative intercourse as a measure of sexual activity. And we know, like, honestly, a lot of lesbians, some lesbians don't even be doing that. That's not even what their sex means. And
even, yeah.
I mean, asking
Well,
a
it
Christian.
depends on the lesbian. But
It does, yeah.
well, how do you define sex?
Hot topic.
God, that is a hot topic.
I think it's different for everyone.
It definitely is different for everyone, but since it's in the form of a you, I'm like, oh, fucking shit. Do I even have sex? I don't know. I've never had it in my life.
I'm a virgin.
I'm a virgin. Ooh, yay! I don't think it necessarily requires an orgasm. I know a lot of I know people.
A
who
lot
are
of people
like,
define as orgasm.
Someone's got to get off. I don't think that's quite sex for me. I think it's maybe all the acts before, like it's the
I
foreplay.
agree.
That's for
Yeah.
that's where sex starts for me, is the foreplay. And
Sometimes that's where it ends.
and not if you're me, let me tell you. Sex is looking at somebody across the room and realizing that you want them for the night, or
For real?
yeah, like for me, like
You define that as sex, or are you just like writing a little bit of poetry right now?
well, I mean, so many lesbians will be so happy with that, because how many times have we all just made eye contact and then left and been like, oh my god, I almost talked to a woman. What, you know?
Yeah.
I think
he fucked.
Oh my god, I think we shared a cigarette. We kissed. But actually, maybe I'm talking about foreplay, though. Maybe the eye contact is the foreplay. And
think
for
it's
me, that's
foreplay.
where the sex starts, though. So I think
Yes.
for me, it kind of intertwines and maybe has a bit of a nondescript line of like where it starts and ends. But I think that's the fun part for me, is that like I can feel like winded and like hot and bothered after simply just like having very intense eye contact with somebody and having like a like a shoulder touch. I'll be like, like that's.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a joke somewhere about like fingertips touching is like lesbian porn. For me, it is.
Hands are hot.
Like hands are hot.
Yeah.
Eye contact is hot, and the ability to approach someone is also very hot. And
Hands are
sexy.
hot and you gotta have good hands. Is that a lesbian thing?
Well, it's your dick, bro.
It's like, when you send in your self-tapes when you're like auditioning for a role and you're like, hi, my name is Carbon. These are my hands.
These are my hands. Yeah,
Someone's
the
getting
hand
off on
modeling
that.
thing.
Somebody's like, oh, wow, those
I
are
just
good.
censor this right now. Yeah.
So for me, sex doesn't always end in an orgasm. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's penetrative. A lot of the times it's not.
Sometimes it's one-sided.
Sometimes it's one-sided, but it feels both-sided.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you're just popping.
Are you a poet?
I think for my records,
I think, well, However,
For my personal records, I think I would define it as genital stimulation. Like some kind of genital stimulation. I think I would,
Right.
other than that, I'm like,
Yeah.
I think it's just like maybe like I would call it like a hookup, but it's not fully sex. But again,
What
like
is a hookup? Nobody's ever.
a hookup could also
Everybody
be sex.
has a different answer.
A hookup
Yeah.
could also be
Sometimes
sex.
people kiss and they're like, "We hooked up."
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like that's so vague and broad. It's like the word queer.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's could be anything.
It could be.
Genital stimulation.
know?
Okay. So is there
Yeah.
genital stimulation in all of your defined sex?
However, someone could give you like a titty orgasm, and I'm like, that was maybe sex.
I would count that.
I would count that
I
as
would
sex.
count that. Yeah.
Where they sucked your titty so hard that
That
you
you came?
Yeah, you came.
Yeah, that happens.
The dream.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen.
It hasn't happened to me, but it happens.
Yeah, it does
to get
happen.
there,
Right.
psychological. I'm telling you,
very
Yeah.
it has to be a
much.
psychological.
I will say, once you get your nipples pierced, everything changes.
Right.
And your
In a good
titty
way or
and
bad
your
way?
titty's psychological connectivity.
Yeah, in a good way or bad way.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Sometimes in a
more
good
sensitive
way.
or not?
Sometimes in a bad way. For me, it's like overly sensitive, but also numb at the same time. I don't know how to explain
That's
this.
too bad.
Yeah.
Our definition of sex is obviously a little bit blurry, but beyond that, the framing of lesbian bed death really pathologizes lesbian sexuality. Let's think about that for a second. It frames lesbian identity as inherently deficient or problematic, while in heterosexual couples, the same thing gets labeled as just a dry spell, which feels very benign. In contrast to like lesbian bed death. This carries misogynistic and homophobic undertones.
I don't think it's real. Unless like, that relationship is headed for like it's on its way out, perhaps.
I mean, I have mixed reviews that I'm about to share, but what do you think of the term?
The
lesbian bed
term,
death?
it sounds violent.
I was gonna say I'm still hung up on the word death.
It sounds
being-
final.
It's
Yeah.
an ending. It's
Yeah.
a very final,
Yeah.
and you can't undo
You can't undo.
death.
Whereas
So
dry
you
spell
can't-
feels we're just having a moment.
It's
We're having-
momentary, it's
yeah.
situational. We're not having a second. We're just really busy. You know what I mean?
you know?
Is lesbian bed death a myth?
Well, yes and no. First of all, like we don't like the term. Like we're not using the
like it.
term.
Boo to the
but
term.
is the concept of lesbians like reducing their sexual frequency real? Let's talk about it. So a 2021 study that set out to debunk lesbian bed death found some mixed results. Unlike the original flawed study that didn't define what sex was, the study used coarsened exact matching, which is a statistical technique used to make fair comparisons between two groups. So it's like they were kind of just letting everyone use like, what is your definition of sex? You know what I mean? It was like more
Right.
broad
I
rather
see.
than like, it's penetration.
Got it.
And here's what they found. Lesbians were more likely to report having sex only 0 to 1 times a month. And among relationships longer than 5 years, the drop in frequency was actually steeper for lesbian couples, 42% versus 15%. That's a pretty big difference. For straight couples, it was 15%.
Oh, the drop was 15%.
Oh,
So that's
interesting.
significant.
That is very significant. Yeah.
However,
So what's this about?
well, let me explain. However, and this is the key, lesbian and heterosexual women reported similar sexual satisfaction overall. Okay.
Okay.
So
Wait
we're
a
still
minute.
satisfied. What's going on here? Well, the study dug into quality, not just quantity. Compared to heterosexual women, lesbians were more likely to receive oral sex in the past month, use sex toys over the past year, and in their last sexual encounter were more likely to have said, I love you, have sex that lasted over 30 minutes, and engage in gentle kissing.
Oh, I love gentle kissing.
I love a gentle kiss.
I
So-
love it. It's my favorite kind of kiss.
Yes.
I don't like a rough kiss.
No.
Oh, well,
Sometimes I really fuck with
I
a rough kiss.
lied.
Sometimes- both are nice.
both are good.
The way that we have sex is just different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And here's the thing. I think heterosexual sex, they can just kind of shove it in. It was like, yeah, we fucked. Check.
Done.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We
Right.
did sex. But it's like
Yeah.
you miss the intimacy.
miss-
And that's the quality over quantity.
Yeah, it taking over 30 minutes.
That's kind of what I was going to touch on too, is I feel from like my own personal experience, also one of the reasons why I felt the frequency went down is like this is kind of like the busy capitalist shitty mindset. It's like you're so busy and you're like, oh my God, sex is going to take a long time.
Right.
So it's like you're kind of planning for it.
It's not always a stress reliever.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm stressed out right now.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like in hetero relationships is like you can just do that fast, shove it in, and then you like ticked a box, even though you didn't necessarily get the intimacy or closeness that you were actually longing for and looking for. You just did the act.
Might as well masturbate. I don't know.
Yeah.
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 But to be honest, okay, even when I do that, it takes me a while.
To masturbate.
Yeah. It's over 30 minutes.
Wow. Really? I just bust a nut in 5 minutes. Like, I'm like, honestly, like, if I just can't focus, like, I go and I pop it
In
out.
5 minutes?
Depends how I'm feeling. Like, sometimes I'll watch a video and it'll last
I
longer.
mean-
Sometimes you intentionally take it slower, but other times I'm like,
That's the face you make.
I'm like, now I can focus.
No, I definitely.
Holy shit. 5 minutes.
No, I take a minute too. I take quite some time when I'm by myself. Yeah.
I mean, I can make it a whole experience. I can take a minute.
Dim the lights.
Yeah, like if I want to bring out some toys, if I want to
think-
watch a video, like it can be a long experience.
See, my thing is, I'm a less sexual person, so for me, it's like the most stimulating part is like the imagination or like the intimacy part. If I'm with a partner, it's so for me like popping a quick one doesn't really do it for me, and I also feel like
Busting a
it
nut.
just busting a nut in 5
Yeah.
minutes doesn't do it for me. Like I don't feel like I get anything out of it. Like the few times that I've done that, I was like, oh, well, that
Right.
was-
Right.
Do you
that
feel
was
like
no
you
fun.
need the intimacy more? Like you need the closeness?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like the imagination if I'm by myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Which takes a while.
Which is
to build.
again.
You build a
yeah,
scene.
because you have to build a
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
I get it.
I think
Yeah.
it's the hypersexuality with the ADHD thing for me is like I'm sitting there, I'm distracted, I'm already thinking about it.
Mine
So
as
I go
well.
and I bust it out.
Bust a nut.
I go bust it out. And then I come back and I'm like,
I'm new, rejuvenated.
now I can focus.
Yeah. There are days where I'm like, oh, I can't wait to go home and masturbate. Like there's times like that, and then there's times where it's like I just feel like I need to do this to just either pass time or do
Like you're bored.
focus or something
Yeah.
like that.
Function.
Yeah. Function, exactly.
sometimes I am looking for like intimacy with myself too. Like sometimes there's other motives, and that's when it takes
Right.
longer. Like I'm
Right.
like looking to enjoy myself.
um
The smile.
Carmen just really wants to know about how long my sex is.
How long you're fucking.
Quickest has been like 8 minutes.
That's quite
good.
quick. That's
yeah,
pretty quick.
it's very quick.
Just busted a nut.
And then, there's the ones that go for like the entire night. And
Yeah.
you're just like, you can't stop touching each other because it's
Yeah.
it's so fun. And then you're all
Yeah.
sore and you're like, ooh. Yeah, you're like, oh, that was nice. And people are like, why are your legs? You're like, I don't know. I just went hiking. It's never my goal to be quick or long. It's just a goal
How it
of like
feels.
how it feels and
Yeah.
like
What are you in the mood for in the moment?
what are you in the
Yeah.
mood for? I love going more than once, but like, you
Yeah.
know, like recovery time isn't my recovery time isn't too bad.
If summer camp and Pride had a chaotic queer baby,
That baby would be Banff Pride, and she would be hella gay.
picture this. Sapphic hikes, boat cruises on turquoise waters, yoga, and dancing to live music literally on top of a mountain. You picturing it?
I am. Oh, and don't forget late night parties with Canada's finest drag queens.
We'll be in Banff from October 3rd to 5th celebrating Pride surrounded by the Rocky Mountains in those iconic turquoise waters.
And yes, it's not too late to join us.
Right now, you can snag 20% off your hotel with Banff Lodging Co. and 15% off your airport or transfer.
Visit banffpride.ca for details.
So if you see us at Banff Pride,
Come say hi, because we're going to be running around doing fun interviews, probably out of breath from dancing or hiking.
see you in the Rockies.
This is why I'm trying to get out of the city.
How important do we think frequency of sex is? Like, is it a red flag that this is happening in lesbian relationships?
Well, if you're reporting satisfaction, regardless of how much you're
often.
having it, I think that's the most important thing. How satisfied are you? Not like how much are you having? Because different people have different needs.
Different
You know, some
libidos, yeah.
people are more on the ace spectrum. Some people are more like they have more of a sexual drive. And it just depends on the person. As long as you're satisfied, I don't think it's a red flag at all.
Keeping the intimacy alive, though, is important, you
Yeah.
know? And I think as frequency decreases, sometimes like we were talking about, you can merge the lines and it goes too much into the platonic region because we're not doing the intimacy enough.
Right.
Yeah,
You
I think you have to
know?
make an effort as like time passes and you age together.
Yeah, well, like the
a fine
NRE,
wine.
the excitement
Yeah.
goes away. So it's
Yeah.
like you do have to be very intentional about it.
You have to be intentional. You have to like put more effort into like building
Yeah.
scenes or setting the stage,
Yeah.
creating
Yeah.
the setting, making it like hot or
Exploring new
romantic
things
or,
together.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you can find NRE in different ways where it's like, yeah, like, is there something in kink that maybe both of you are interested in that you could explore together?
Yeah.
Could you explore rope tying together?
Yeah.
And have a little fun with that?
Always fun. Always fun
I don't
to
know.
explore. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Exploring is
Explore
fun.
some fun things.
Yeah.
I agree.
And it brings a new energy into the relationship.
Yeah.
You share fantasies. That's fun too.
100%.
Like,
yeah, I think sharing your evolving fantasies is important too. I think this
Yeah.
idea that your partner is only ever going to be interested in you and exactly what you've been providing for however many years isn't realistic, you know? And I think the more open and honest you can be about your fantasies, they can become shared fantasies in ways that you can creatively explore together.
I like it a lot.
I like it. Yeah.
Something I've been experiencing when I first started dating my current partner is I'm having a lot of straight people who are perpetually alone and queer people who are perpetually alone letting me know that, oh, yeah, but you're always dating somebody. Yeah, but you're always seeing somebody. Yeah, you always have a girl. And it's kind of like going back to me being comfortable in how much I care for people and how much I love. You know, it's kind of like I want to hit them with a, and what about it?
Yeah.
And what about it?
Exactly.
Like, I don't think that you get to dictate, like, it's a little slut-shamey and a little homophobic to be able to just
straight people were saying this to you?
and queer people as well.
Interesting.
But all these parties were not with long-term partners.
I think it's certainly
We're
envious
not-
of your position.
I think, yeah, it's envy.
it's envy.
envy.
I think so.
I don't know if
I
I've
can't
clocked it as envy yet.
I can't
'cause I was
speak
just
for
like,
them,
clutch
but
pearls out.
You get bitches.
Pearls.
I
I'm
think like
clutching my
you
pearls.
pull.
You
I've
get
seen-
bitches.
I've
Yeah.
seen you with hot girls.
You pull.
Yeah. And
Every
I think people are
time.
jealous.
I do.
You're pulling big time right now.
I do. And I have, and I will. I think for me, I was like racking my brain about like, why does that affect me so much? Like, why is that so hurtful? For a lot of it, I was kind of like really down on myself. Like, it's got to be a problem with me. And like, maybe I am like a serial dater and it's getting kind of crazy. I don't know. But I was doing shrooms with one of my very good friends, Rachel. And I talked to her about it. And she said something really groundbreaking, which was, is it because it insinuates failure? It insinuates the fact that you've had all these people
so many
and
failures.
so many failures. And that, like, I almost started crying because
Yeah.
that was my moment of like, oh my God.
That's how you know in therapy. Usually with my therapist, if she gets me to cry, she's like, there it is.
There it is. There's a breakthrough. There it is. There it is.
Found it.
Nailed it.
Yeah. That it does kind of insinuate a failure. And you're right that it does sound like envy.
Yeah.
But it's like, how fucking dare you? I don't think I've failed, quote unquote.
I don't think so.
At these relationships. I think just like any other couple, straight couple, gay couple, whatever, if it doesn't work out, you break up, you have your time, and then you move on. Like that is how, for
Yeah.
me,
You just keep moving forward.
finding my person, finding the one, that's how it has worked for me, is just putting yourself out there. And on top of that, why aren't you commending me for putting myself out there?
I feel like inversely, it insinuates the feeling of being stuck in one state
Yes.
for the person who's saying that. It feels to me like this stuckness and like I can't change my reality
For sure.
even if I desire it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say this to you because you're always changing yours.
Oh.
That's what
I
I
like that
thought of.
perspective, yeah.
We see this in many different things, not just in relationships, but also in like, you know, like entrepreneurs who start like a bunch of businesses and whatever, and they like fail at a shit ton of businesses.
Right.
And it's like, yo, you keep starting these businesses and you keep failing. It's like, well, is that not better than doing nothing and like staying in
You're
your current
learning
situation?
something.
You're learning every time. Yeah, you're evolving as a person.
I totally understand how you feel though, because I also see ends of relationships as failures. And I think it's part of the way that we envision our life together forever with this person. So it's like my dream, my fantasy has now collapsed.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
my full vision isn't coming to fruition. So that is a failure in my eyes.
Yeah.
But sometimes it just wasn't in the cards.
Yeah. I want to get better at calling people on that when they say, because I've heard a lot of it, and I'm always just kind of like, and what? Like, and what are you doing? Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I like, and why aren't you happy
Yeah.
that I'm happy? Like, why do you have to trivialize it?
Exactly.
It's weird.
I think also we can start seeing it as it's our own never-ending story.
Yeah. And there is a difference
And there's
between
just characters who are joining our
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
there's a difference between dating a lot and being successful at it versus like being afraid to be alone. I think there's like something to identify there if
Yeah.
it is the case.
Right.
But we just spent this whole episode talking about how you're like so good with being alone. So I don't think it applies.
I think they're just saying things.
That's a great place to wrap it up. So before we do, where can people find you? Are you on the gram?
I am on the gram. I'm Lesbian Playboy Poetry on the gram, same as TikTok.
Are you for hire?
I am for hire. It depends on what you're hiring me for, but yeah, I'm for hire. You can contact me on my Instagram, so if any kind of inquiries on there, I will answer promptly.
Explain what you do at events.
I do actually live poetry, so I do poetry on a typewriter, and I will usually ask my lovely guest for a prompt. My typical prompt is, what do you feel like you need to hear right now? And I write you a quick little poem in 5 minutes or less, and because it's done on a typewriter, it's material that you can take
Forever.
home right away. You can frame it, you can keep it in your wallet, you can stick it up to a mirror, whatever you like, but it's done and ready to go as soon as the poem's finished, so it's yours forever.
Bam.
Yeah.
So that's everything that we have for you today. And if you want to dig deeper into the history of lesbian identities, we have an episode called The Great Divide, Butch versus Femme. Make sure to like and subscribe. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast app, make sure to leave us a 5-star review because it really does help the podcast out. That's everything that we got. And until next time, peace.